What's going on, Washington fans? I am Josh Taylor, also known as @JoshTaylorFB if you follow me on Twitter. Shout out to Bleacher Report for having me come on and talk about the first preseason game of the season. Started out kind of rough, but nonetheless, after the delay, we got a 17-15 win over the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland, who played just about all their starters, by the way, too. So we're going to talk about it. Obviously, going to talk about Sam Howell, talk about the defense, talk about some concerns as well. But I'll also be dropping some polls in the chat. You'll see it at the bottom of the app, or it also might pop up on your phone. So go ahead when you see those polls drop, give me your answer, and we'll talk about those as well. But flood the chats, guys. Excited about this game. Obviously, there's a lot of, I would say, nerves coming into this one, not really knowing what to expect out of this team. Sam Howell, finally quarterback one. He should have been for the season last year, as it turns out. So honestly, I'll start with Sam Howell, just talk a little bit about what I saw out of him so far in just the first preseason game. Even after the delay, he's ready to go. They have to wait a little bit, whatever. I'm going to drop the poll for Sam Howell. Let me know what you think. Did he pass your eye test or not? Like I said, I'm interested to hear what you got to say, because a lot of people on Twitter, some say yes, some say no. They wanted to see some more. But in my opinion, I like what I saw out of Howell. I've loved Howell for a long time. I studied him when he was at North Carolina. I covered the Senior Bowl when he was there, talked to him a lot. Like, Sam Howell was my guy going into the draft. Didn't think he would fall to us in the 5th round. But then in this game, I kind of want to see, how he looked early and often, how Eric Bieniemy was really calling plays with him. But then also just seeing how that really dictated how the game went, how long he was going to be out there. Ron said he'd probably get about a quarter or so. Didn't really know if that was going to last with the rain. But I thought Sam looked really good. Ian Evans said Howell didn't look bad, not going to lie. I think Howell looked really good. I think he was decisive in his throws. I don't think he was staring down anyone. I think he made smart plays also when there was something there. He only had 3 incompletions, by the way. It was 9 for 12, 77 yards, and a touchdown. One was a drop that John Bates would have had a big gain on. He was wide open across the middle. If that's Logan Thomas or Cole Turner, it's a big gain. So he should have finished 9 for 12 with almost 100 yards and a touchdown. That's a really good first game as quarterback one. And he threw the other 2 away. So it wasn't like he was forcing anything down the field like we saw in the past with Wentz or Heineke or even before then. I think Howell was taking what the defense was giving him and also what the offensive line was giving him, which I'm obviously going to talk about the offensive line as well. But I'm telling you guys, I thought Howell looked really good, and I'm interested to see how these next 2 go. I've been at training camp. The first week I was there every single day, and I think he stood out a lot. I really wanted to see how he would command this offense, and he was talking after the game, just about how he felt and everything. But that throw to Jahan Dotson, who, by the way, Jahan Dotson is going to be this is his breakout season. Like, I'm so ready for Jahan Dotson to tear things up. Tino 007 said Chris Rodriguez looked good as well. I agree. Chris Rodriguez actually had a sneaky game. It wasn't much. It was 5 carries for 39 yards, but he ran with some steam. He had some juice to him. We'll also talk about some juice. D Washington 779 said, I like Kaz Allen. I love Kaz Allen, especially if it's between him and Dax Milne returning kicks. I said this in my little preview that I did with my buddy Rio Robinson. I don't know what Kaz Allen offers you as a receiver, though. Like, maybe he's just a special teams guy. And so what? If he's like our Steven Sims, then that's fine. I don't think that Dax Milne really offers you anything as a wide receiver. And I know that he doesn't offer you anything as a return man as well. So in my opinion, I think Casimir Allen right now should be that guy that's one of those last wide receivers. It's really going to be interesting to see if they keep 6 or 7 wide receivers. Maybe he makes that last round guy, but I'm telling you, they are super deep at wide receiver. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they say with Casimir Allen. Like I said, guys, I got the poll going for Sam Howell. Did he pass your eye test? I know it wasn't a lot. It was a little sample. It was about a quarter and some change. But yes, I'll go ahead and talk about it. A lot of people are dropping in the chat right now. The O-line scared me, says Pete Kelly 13. Love seeing Sam pass more. Just hope he gets more keepers too. And I'll talk about the offensive line, because I've been saying that's my biggest, if not like the only concern I really had with this team. That's really glaring. And like they said, they went out and, they got, they said they made improvements on the offensive line, but I don't really think so. I don't think it was enough. Maybe they should have went offensive line in the second round. Maybe they should have went guard, whatever. But Andrew Wiley looked so bad tonight. And that's supposed to be Eric Bieniemy's guy. Like Eric Bieniemy said, this is my guy in Kansas City. But if you go back and look at how Wiley was last year, he started super slow. It took a little while. And then about that midway point in the season, he really turned on and he had a flawless Super Bowl game. I know it was a rough field, but he looked so good against that front for the Eagles. So I think Wiley will be okay. Maybe it's going to take a little bit of time, but even outside of that, the only person that was really good tonight was actually Sam Cosmi, which is actually pretty surprising. He's the guy that moved from right tackle to right guard. He's been the wild card. I'm going to break down his film on my channel a little bit, do like an all 22, but I think Sam Cosmi looked really good at right guard. Once again, small sample size. But compared to what I saw out of Wiley, compared to what I saw out of Leno, like that whole side, like it wasn't good. So obviously that's the big wild card of how well Howell's going to be this season is what's the offensive line going to do for him. But on that third down, when he rolled out to the left side, I don't know. The haters say that Sam Howell can't run the ball. I think he's pretty daggone good in his feet. He showed that in the Cowboys game, and he showed a little glimpse of it today. He showed it in the preseason last year against the Panthers, against the Ravens. So like, I'm saying don't sleep on Sam Howell's ability to create some plays on with his feet. You know, fourth down, a big completion. He made some gutsy throws. That throw to Jahan, though, was perfect. I'm telling you, he has really good hands. Just Aspect said Howell needs to move a little bit more. He has the power, and the way he just drops dimes be good this season. Just move a little bit more. I agree. Like sometimes he needs to, get out of there. And with this offensive line, he's going to have to be able to move in the pocket and stuff and throw on the run. And that's another thing I think he did really well tonight, being able to throw on the run, make some moves, get out of that pocket, his pocket presence for a smaller guy too. Like he's got to be able to feel where the pressure's coming from and move in and out of there. Someone said Wiley is just Andrew Norwell in a different body. Honestly, it looked as bad. He had two holding, one calls the safety, and then he gave up a ton of broken blocks, especially on like the screenplay. It was just really ugly by Wiley. I need to see a big time improvement by Wiley. Did Quan Martin really play that bad? Says Commander Ray. I really like Quan Martin, by the way. That's someone I've been hyping up so far this preseason. I think it's going to take a little bit of time once again. And for a guy like Quan Martin, he's going to be playing in that nickel spot. He's going to be playing as that big safety because Washington does a lot of a big safety looks, more of like a big nickel package where you have 4 linemen, 2 linebackers, 2 corners, and 3 safeties. He's going to be one of those guys. They're going to want Cam Crow to play back a little bit more where he's more natural. So I think it's just going to take a little time for Quan Martin. The one play where he got called for a flag, like pass interference or holding, whatever it was, that was bad. I will say the touchdown he gave up, though, he had inside coverage on that slant, still gave it up. That, in my opinion, that was bad coverage in that red zone. Like, ideally, you want some kind of safety help across the middle, something. They're kind of just, it's like when you're playing Madden. Like, you know how hard it is to defend those slants. You're like one-on-one on an island like that, especially a guy in the middle of the field, whether he's playing in that nickel or that big safety role. I don't think he was bad tonight. He wasn't really playing with the ones. He kind of rotated a little bit. But you're going to see him all over the place. You're going to see them just rotating him in and out. Overall, with the rookies, Tino 007, I'm going to go to you because you asked about all the rookies. I'll say there was a couple, and I don't know what it is about Washington and all these late-round guys. But there's some late-round guys that have looked great. And you want to talk about Andre Jones, another one of these 7th-rounders, that edge rusher out of ULL. There was a couple plays. He made DeJuan Jones look really bad. There was a tackle for a loss. DeJuan Jones was supposed to be this, behemoth of a right tackle, had a lot of hype at the Senior Bowl. He pulled him out after the first day at practice. He was projected to go first round. I think he ended up going like second or something like that. But DeJuan Jones was supposed to be like this great, big time right tackle who's just going to shut guys down. And Andre Jones was quick off the line. I'm telling you guys, there's so much depth on this D line. It's insane. You saw it with Ridgeway getting that fumble recovery near the end there. I'm trying to think other rookies. I have to go back and really watch each rookie individually and just kind of break it down. But those are the ones that jumped out to me. Andre Jones, obviously. I think that Forbes on that red zone stop on 3rd down right before Montez Sweat got that 4th down stop. he put his nose in there, and I'm telling you guys, like, he's not too small to be breaking up some of these plays in the backfield. Forbes did not care. He was in there and he was stuffing at the goal line. I love what I saw out of Forbes. Once again, super small sample size, but there's a lot still to look for. Colt the GOAT said, I loved how Howell dealt with pressure. He didn't force throws and throw anything away. I agree. He wasn't trying to like run out of the pocket and then just chuck stuff down there. And some people like, yeah, I like those Heineke plays because Terry was still coming down with those. Or, you know, he's giving the wide receiver a chance. But still, like, Howell's going to be smart. And we've seen that Howell can air it out. That throw to Jahan, that was a dart. Maybe he put a little bit too much juice on there. Jahan's a little smaller. I get it. He's like 5'10", whatever, 5'11". But Jahan Dawson can go up and get that, and he knows that. He wants to put these passes where his wide receivers can get it. He's not going to be throwing some crazy Hail Marys like in the Cowboys game where he led Terry down the field. He's not going to be just chucking stuff up. Like, that's just not Sam. He's going to throw things away if he has to and just take what the defense gives him. If he has to, on 3rd and long, throw it away and not force a turnover of some kind, then Sam's going to do it, and I'm not mad at that at all. So let me check the polls. Y'all say Sam Howell. 75% y'all say yes, Sam Howell has passed your eye test tonight. 13% said no. 13% said you need to see a little bit more. I'm not mad at it. I definitely want to see some more. But for the expectations I had tonight, yes, it started rough. But it was because of the offensive line. It's because John Bates dropped one. It's because the coverage wasn't there. But what I saw out of him, in particular with his movement in the pocket, his ability to throw on the run, but then also just make quick, decisive throws, not second guess. He's not, doing these pump fakes. He's not, tapping the ball, something a lot of quarterbacks do before. They just get indecisive. They second guess it. He has a quick trigger. I love that about Sam. Next question I got for y'all is, which position did y'all watch closely tonight? For me, it was definitely the offensive line because I knew that was the one that I had the most concerns about. There was a lot of depth guys that got some playing time, so I want to go back and watch that second half, see how guys like Mason Brooks looked. Sadiq Charles did not play. Chris Paul got the start at that guard spot. So I want to go back and watch and see how his reps were individually. And the thing that kind of confuses me is Sadiq Charles has been the guy that's been getting first-team reps in training camp, but tonight Chris Paul is the guy that got the start. Kind of reminds me of like Howell last season, like with the last game, like he didn't really get much practice before then. Did Mason Brooks play tonight? I'm pretty sure he did play tonight. Like I said, I'll have to go back and check with that. Speedy757 said, are you concerned with the tight end depth? I'm really not. I think Logan looks much better, even though we didn't get to see him tonight. Like I said, I got to see him a good bit in training camp. I think he looks like he's back. He looks fresh. He looks a lot more natural. He just looked super stiff last year. I didn't like the way he was running routes. I didn't like the way that he was, after the catch, anything like that. I think Cole Turner is going to be a big-time target for Sam. We saw that tonight. I mean, Cole Turner got a good bit of targets. And he called just about everything. And he was down, by the way, like when the ball got ripped out, that he was down. He had a knee down when they ripped that ball out. So I think Cole Turner's got a big time role in this offense. And I think Eric Bieniemy knows what he wants to do with him. He's not going to ask Cole Turner to put his hand in the dirt and be some inline tight end. He's going to put him out there in the Y like he does with Travis Kelce back in Kansas City. And he's going to tell him to run these vertical routes and be a receiving threat because that's what he is. He had the most touchdowns by any tight end in college football his last season at Nevada. That's just what he is. He's not a blocker. Yes, he's going to have to block sometimes, but Eric Bieniemy is smarter than that. He's not going to do what Scott Turner did and tell these tight ends to be in line and block against Aiden Hutchinson and some of these other edge rushers. Like I said, sometimes he's going to have to, but he's not going to be that guy out there. Would I like for them to go out and get another tight end? I'm good on that. Yeah, like I said, Bates had a big opportunity to catch one, and it didn't go well for him. He needs to catch those. Absolutely needs to catch those. But I'm still not worried about it. I think once Logan Thomas hits the field, it's going to look good. Do you think EB over time will kill the O-line penalty problem? And what surprises me is that it was Wiley was the one that was getting the holding calls. because, like I said, that was your guy in Kansas City. Like, you pretty much handpicked him. Like, Eric Bieniemy handpicked Wiley. And I'm not saying it was a bad idea. I think it's going to take some time to, get used to the whole offensive line. Really needs to get used to each other. But I think it will cut down. Like I said, it's one game. I'm not going to freak out over it. Am I concerned about the offensive line? Yes. Was I clamoring to say go sign Dalton Reisner, the free agent? He used to play for the Denver Broncos. Like, yeah, like I don't feel confident about Chris Paul or Sadiq Charles out there left guard because, one, Sadiq Charles is always hurt. Every time he touches the field or in practice, seems like he's always hurt, which is why he didn't play tonight. But then Chris Paul, do I really feel good about him being the starting left guard with a young quarterback like Sam Howell? No, not at all. But I think ideally the best combo for this line is going to be when they move Gates to left guard and Stromberg has to get going at that center spot. I'm really high on Ricky Stromberg. Once again, he's a guy I need to go back and watch and see like how much he played tonight. But I'm telling you, I think that's the best five is Nick Gates going out to left guard, and Stromberg has a very high ceiling at that center spot. They just said he's not there yet. He's still getting used to the offense. It's going to take some time, whatever. But I think ideally that's where he needs to be. Let's see. Eisner would be an upgrade. Absolutely agree with you. Let's see what else we got here in the chat. People talking about Heineke. I'm telling you guys, like, we maxed out on the whole Heineke thing. I'm not sure why people still clamor for him, whatever. Like, you can just immediately tell that Sam Howell is an upgrade. I think Sam Howell has the potential of guys like Pickett, Ritter, some of these other young quarterbacks, maybe even CJ Stroud. Like, I'm telling you guys, I think Sam Howell, his passing ability is there. He's a problem with his feet. Like, he can pick up these third downs. He can get out of the pocket. I'm telling you guys, I think the ceiling for Sam Howell is absolutely there. I think he's in a great situation with Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy is not going to be telling him to get under center. He's going to have him in shotgun, just like he did in college with Phil Longo at North Carolina. A lot of college offenses are like that. You're in shotgun. You're looking at the whole defense. You're not under center. You're not having to turn your back to the defense. You have fake handoffs and stuff like that. You're in shotgun a lot. It's going to be a lot of quick passing concepts with Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel running these slants and quick things. And it's going to open up such a deep ball game for him, which is what we saw in the Cowboys game. The first plays were short slants and these out routes to Terry. That first one was a touchdown. Then he started hitting Jahan Dotson across the middle. I know we didn't have Eric Bieniemy obviously last year, but I'm telling you guys, it's going to be a much improved offense. I think Washington is honestly right now the best situation that Sam Howell could have been in for a team that really needed a quarterback at the time. So he passed my eye test tonight. I think we're going to learn a lot from these joint practices with the Ravens. Then obviously we play the Ravens at home. I'll be at that game. So if you're going, let me know. And then we got the Bengals. But tonight was a really good test against a Browns team who's going to surprise a lot of people this year. They have a lot of depth, especially on the defensive line. Taylor Lewan, he ain't coming back. Taylor Lewan's got it made with busting with the boys. I don't think he would want to play for Washington just because he wants to win a Super Bowl. I hate to say it. Sam got bailed out by Jahan on the touchdown. Otherwise, he looked great. Poised, extended his legs, being me, scheming guys open, etc. I don't think he got bailed out, but I think it was a great throw. I think he did put a little bit too much juice on it. If that's Terry, it doesn't look like as high as a pass because Jahan is a smaller guy, but still, I think Jahan just went up and got that thing, and he knew that he could climb the ladder and do it, so he had no problem doing it. All right, which position did you guys watch closely tonight? 69% said the offensive line. Nice. 15% said the DBs, and 15% said the defensive line. Ooh, I got to talk about the defensive line too. But I'll hit you with one more poll. It's about the offensive line. How concerned are you with the offensive line? Not at all. It's still early. Are you hitting that help button? Let me know how concerned you are with the offensive line. Obviously, I'm hitting the help button. I want to talk about the defensive line. With Chase Young, I'll say this. He's looked really good in camp. The thing that kills me with Chase Young is that he had Deshaun Watson on a sack, and he just couldn't finish it. He did all the right things. He won to the inside, which he doesn't do a lot of. He won to the inside, which is something he's been doing a lot more of camp. He worked his tail off this offseason. He improved his technique more. I think Chase Young's going to have a great season, but I really wanted to see him finish that That one play where he let Deshaun Watson get up in the middle. And I'll say, like, the defensive line as a whole was kind of struggling against the run early. Say what you want about it, whether it was containing Deshaun Watson or it was just stopping the run. But they were actually running the ball, and it wasn't like Nick Chubb was out there either, So in my opinion, I think they really have to buckle down on stopping the run. But I want to see Chase finish those. But I love our defensive line. I love the depth that we have. I think we're going to be cutting some really good guys, whether it's on the interior or those edge rushers. So I'm super excited to see what this defense does. I think we've got a lot of depth at DB, a lot of young guys. Like, once again, we're going to be cutting some good DBs. And same with wide receiver. I don't know who the heck that last wide receiver is going to be. Mitch Tinsley made some plays. Pringle looked really good tonight. He made a super good catch. I think Pringle could be a guy that you could put back there on returns. He had some returns with Kansas City. I don't think he did any with Chicago last year, but he had some return experience with Kansas City. And maybe Kazmir Allen's that guy that really takes that last spot. Just aspects that I want to see more out of Robinson. I think Brian Robinson had a pretty good night too. It wasn't anything crazy. 3 carries for 16 yards, not bad. He didn't have once again, a huge sample size. But I think Washington really has their blueprint for how they want to win games this year. And it goes back to that Eagles game last year. They want to run the ball down people's throat, which that Brian Robinson was hot that game. Like, we just kept feeding him. They want to, control the clock, control the game. They want to get turnovers on defense, which is what they did that game. I think Forrest and St. Juice had an interception, I think. I can't remember. I think we had like 2, though. And then that's why they went and got Forbes, and that's why they went and got Quan Martin as well, to add to, Forrest, Cam Curl, and all these guys. But they want to control the game. They want to control the clock. They want to beat you up on defense. They want to run the ball down your throat. And that's going to just open up things for Sam Howell. They don't need Sam Howell to be Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow or something like that. You don't need that in this team. Yeah, it'd be nice, but with the way that they're going to run the ball and control the clock and just beat you up and get turnovers on defense and hopefully get to the quarterback, hopefully get those sack numbers up for guys like Chase Young. That's how they're going to win games this year. And Montez Sweat, by the way, he looked good tonight. Him stopping the run, that's an underrated part of his game that not a lot of people talk about. And he showed it on that 4th down. On the weak side of the line, coming up behind the running back, being able to get in there and stop the run on a 4th down. Like, those are the plays we need Montez Sweat and even Chase Young to stick his nose in there, get some stops, not even just getting the quarterback, but stopping the run on the way to the quarterback. But nonetheless, guys, I think this was an overall good game. Kind of stressed me out at the end. I'm like, there's no way we're going to blow this to DTR, who's looks like a really talented depth quarterback, by the way. Someone that Washington had for a private workout really close to the draft. But I think this is a good little showing. It kind of, the weather delay kind of set things off momentum-wise. They're just all chilling, waiting for this to go. They warm up 10 minutes, and they just go back out there on the field. And it was a slow start for us. I think the Browns really hit the ground running. But I think this is a really good first test for us. Like I said, the Browns are going to surprise a lot of people this year. I think they have a lot of depth, especially on defense. I'm just thankful that Myles Garrett wasn't out there because our offensive line would have looked worse. It would have had Myles Garrett over Charles Leno, and it would have been Zadarius Smith over Wiley. Like, that's just not a good combo. But you're going to see some really good defensive lines this year. You don't want to talk about the Cowboys, you want to talk about the Eagles, the Giants, not just in our division alone. You're going to see a lot of really good pass rushers and a lot of good defensive lines. Something's got to give on this offensive line. I'm not sure that we have the answer on the roster right now. I know that we're, cutting down roster spots soon. So maybe there's a surprise cut, maybe some kind of, salary cap casualty guy that gets cut close to the season starting. I don't know. The only real option out there right now is Dalton Reisner and Ben Jones, which I don't think Ben Jones wants to come play here either. I think he wants to win a Super Bowl. So I don't know if there is an answer out there right now. I don't know if there's an answer for the offensive line on the team right now. I think Mason Brooks has the highest upside at that guard spot. So that's the one guy I'm watching for mostly, is to see, because he put, a couple guys on their butts out in training camp. Like, there was a couple practices where Mason Brooks looked really good. I liked him at Western Kentucky, and then he transferred over to Ole Miss, and he was dominating guys there. Only gave up like 3 sacks his entire career, which is nuts, especially out there in the SEC that final season. of his career. But I'm telling you guys, if the offensive line doesn't give Sam Howell time, he is going to make some mistakes. He's going to have more of these growing pains. Not saying that he really had any tonight, but it's going to come. It's definitely going to come. And I think it should have been addressed this offseason. Did they do enough? Personally, no. So that's what I'm looking for. Obviously, throughout the whole college football season this year is guys like Olu Fashanu out of Penn State, Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State. Some of these guys that we can draft. I know it's early, but I'm telling you guys, this offensive line is going to be a long, stressful season. It just seems like that's what we do. So let's check the polls to see what we got. How concerned are you with the offensive line? Absolutely no one said not at all. Thank goodness. I would have been concerned if someone said, I feel good about this offensive line, especially after the game. I mean, just even seeing how the starters were without Myles Garrett. Not pretty at all. It's still early, said 67% of people, and 33% of people said help. I don't know. I need to see a drastic change in the Ravens practice. And Ravens they have a pretty stout defensive line as well. Nothing too crazy, but I think it's a good test. I don't think it's good as the Browns. But I think it's a good measurement of any kind of improvement. So you have the joint practice with the Ravens, and then you have the game with the Ravens, and then you have the Bengals before the season starts. As long as we don't come out looking like we did against the Eagles that second game of the season and the Lions alone, I'm telling you guys that it's better than it was last year, but it's still just not good enough. So that's the only thing that really concerns me. I think the linebackers looked much better. I saw Barton in the backfield a lot in this game, whether it was stopping the run or trying to get to the quarterback. He looked good in coverage. Jamin Davis looked pretty good in coverage. I think he had like one run stop. But other than that, I'm not too concerned about these linebackers. In my opinion, that offensive line is where majority of my concerns go. So if Sam doesn't pan out midseason, do you trade back for Heineke? Heck no, we are not trading. I promise you we're not trading for Heineke. Heineke's back out there in Atlanta where he's from. He is just happy. Let's see. Del Rio doesn't trust the secondary. I think you have a lot of young guys in that secondary. And the thing I really want to see, and it's not just because he's a guy who's about to get a contract, hopefully, but I think this is a year that Cam Crow really steps up as that leader. He has that green dot a lot. He communicates to a lot of people on the field. He's the guy that, directs traffic, but I want to see him step up as that leader in that secondary. It's a young secondary outside of Kendall Fuller with him, Forrest, St. Juice. You got Quan Martin now. You got Forbes now. You got Percy Butler, who looked really good as well. He had that interception tonight. So in my opinion, I want Cam Curl to be that coach in that secondary to where they can get some more of these interceptions. And he's a guy that needs to get more picks. That's the only thing hurting Cam Curl right now is turnovers. He's great in coverage. He's really good at stopping the run. But I'm excited to see what this defense does. Offense, I still have my concerns about the offensive line. But guys, the joint practices start up for the Ravens, and then we play them next week. I think it starts up Monday or Tuesday. I try to get out to it, but those tickets sold out super quick. Like I said, guys, give me a follow on Twitter at Josh Taylor FB. Then you can follow my YouTube channel, JTFB. I'll do some video breakdowns on Sam Howell, some of the rookies. The offensive line, of course, just giving a more in-depth overview, all 22 view of everything going on. But I appreciate y'all coming in the chat and also interacting with the polls. I'll see y'all next time here on Bleacher Report. Peace.